And time for the communion our way. And by that, I mean live from Ybor City, where it all began at 1714 East 7th Street in Ybor City. It's time to jump into a rotation.
We
Now, what you're telling me that you actually smoked a joint before I got here?
You're saying that it's time for communion, but we already did the communion without you. You missed the communion because we smoked a joint before the show, and you weren't here.
Oh, I see. Well,
yeah,
it all depends on what you consider your sacrament. I mean, for me, cafe con leche is my sacrament.
For me, it's a dab.
Yeah. Cannabis and coffee.
It's a dab. It's a dab. Like 6 of them.
Well, last week, as for those of you who tuned in, we had a fantastic religious experience, which was basically Carlos saying,
No, you saw, like, actually Mary saw that, like, I was changing everything before the show, and Mary saw it. She was on his show before he was on ours.
Oh, okay.
And apparently he tried to convert her. No, I'm just kidding.
See, I didn't know you were.
No, Mary.
I actually did not know that Mary was convertible.
Mary is convertible because she's an atheist, and everybody's trying to convert her.
Yeah, I am. My ex-husband used to say was a recovering Catholic, and I think.
Oh man, there's so many of us. There's so many of us.
But I think recovering is what all of us are. A lot of the cannabis patients that I know are currently recovering from all of that in their childhoods.
Well, I think we should do some introductions here before we get too far. You threw me off there when you told me that you already imbibed before I even got here. It's kind of hard to have a rotation by yourself because it's just like, here, okay, I'm passing.
Oh, wait, I got a pen in my purse.
You never let go of it, It's fine. That's fine. We'll work on that for next time. Anyways, my name is Gary Stein. I am the political director here for Suncoast Normal here in beautiful Tampa, Florida. And I am also the master of public health for our trio, of which is missing one person today up on the top there. Chris Cano is quite frankly baked.
He's recovering from a bad sunburn.
Yeah, I'm going to say he got baked in not a good way. And over on to my right, your left, of course, is our deputy director and master of business administration, Carlos Angel Jose Emida.
Oh, wow.
Hello, everybody. And
in between these two giants of industry is somebody who's diminutive, but never to underestimate her. Our favorite chef, Chef Mary.
Hi, everybody.
Now, like I said, last week we talked about religion. Today we're going to talk about food.
Yeah,
for many people, there is no difference.
That's so very true, right?
My daughter is very much into the Great Spaghetti Monster situation, so she does officially, she wears the calendar on her head and she goes to church and celebrates the Great Spaghetti Monster with marinara sauce.
Very nice.
Legalize marinara, guys.
Yeah, of course. Is there any other kind?
So Chef Mary, you've got we were actually talking about your products before.
Yeah.
Before Gary was late this morning. But you've got a lot of
I'm not late for everybody. Yes, I am.
You've got a lot of interesting things going on. And the truth of the matter is you focus on a very important side of cannabis that not a lot of people focus on, and that's on raw cannabis, right?
It's true. Very true.
That's
my religion.
where this religion of raw cannabis start?
Where was your epiphany?
Okay. I've been playing with cannabis and food since before we knew to decarb. But the raw cannabis came in when I started working about 5 years ago with a friend of mine who had Crohn's disease. And we started exploring. CBD had come on the market. Cannabis was still very new and very expensive to get a license in Florida, right? So we started looking at hemp and CBD and what that could do for her. And then I started exploring CBD and especially raw hemp and whole plant hemp, from bud to root, because the whole plant is helpful. And so, come full circle 5 years now, it's actually considered a superfood. We are the first farm licensed to sell raw hemp leaves as food, and you can get this packet at Chillum.
Oh,
So
thank
come
God.
on
I thought you were
down.
going to say Whole Foods.
No,
You
not
can't-
yet. It's on the list, but we're
you-
starting with our friends at Chillum.
Let's
Open her up.
while you're talking and
Try
explaining
one.
everything.
Now, these
I'm
are
gonna
these are fan leaves in here.
open this up
Actually,
and show.
yeah, some sugar, some fan. This packet is about the size of, I think it's
So-
50 to 55 leaves.
To grab one out of here.
Aren't they
Isn't
beautiful?
that awesome? Isn't that cool?
So
guys?
those are hand picked. I picked
Yeah.
those 2 days ago
Uh-huh.
By hand.
by hand. That's right. With my little fingers at Treadwell Farms.
Here, Gary, I
They
got
practice
it.
organic growing.
Oh,
And so this is our sunset variety. It's a lot like arugula. It has
thank you, Julie. I appreciate you lending us your farm.
It has limonene, it has peppertine. So it's going to be like eating arugula. So when you add that to a salad, consider adding kale, adding other sweeter sides to it, because raw cannabis has more value or just as much value as decarbed cannabis. It's just kind of that unknown secret that nobody or that everybody really isn't aware of yet.
So
So
of course, the first thing that hits my sensory is basically chlorophyll.
Yeah.
so you're saying that there's more benefits to raw cannabis than there is to like smoking it or
For
just-
acute pain,
Uh-huh.
for cancer, for IBS, things like that, it's
Uh-huh.
recommended that you consume raw cannabis once or twice a day, in addition to your
Once or
other
twice a
cannabis.
day.
So that's where fresh leaves like this can come in handy, where you can throw them in a salad,
Uh-huh.
5 leaves in your smoothie in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And then that's why I created the spice blends, because it gives you the ability to add raw cannabis into anything from salad dressing to your mayonnaise to your spaghetti sauce, your marinara sauce, right? Your pot. Okay, so pot roast, but and then this
Is
is
that the
so
same
much
thing?
like weed food innuendo. That's like
it
it's
is
so,
for me, you guys.
like-
Eat your weed on my booth at the cannabis festival. We're like, come on in, we eat our weed, and literally we do.
So I eat a lot of decarbed cannabis. Like I'm choking down syringes of RSO for most of the day.
Me too.
And I get a lot of benefits out of that. I really do. Like it
So it's not a sacrifice for the cause.
well, honestly, it's selfish. It's selfish because I'm
It works.
a very, very anxious person. I'm a very irritable guy. Like it's hard for me to manage this whole thing called life.
Yeah.
So I honestly I use RSO just to be able to get out and do my thing throughout the day
Survive, right?
and do it with a smile on my face.
So what you're saying is what we see as Carlos is basically a Carlos-induced facade.
But here's the thing though, right? This Carlos induced facade, as Gary likes to call it.
It's a stoner affect.
It's not. I don't think it's a bad thing that I'm high all the time off the RSO. I actually think that I have an issue with is that I eat a lot and I get fucking fat. And I eat a lot of like stoner foods. Like
Right.
I'm from the 90s, you know what I mean? Like I like a big, you know what I mean? Like I grew up eating big. I'm vegetarian now, but now I'm just like choking down French fries and like eating cake and like there's a lot of fatty foods that don't
Yeah.
kill animals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, there are.
My sweet wife, who is gorgeous in her own right, is constantly trying to get down to her high school weight, which really kind of concerns me because I was ugly in high school, so I wouldn't want her to go back to that level. But the fact I got much cuter afterwards. Yeah, I got much cuter afterwards. So she's constantly asking me for the calorie count on every damn thing we bring into the house.
Yeah, but
So
that's
what's
not the
the
way
calorie
to look at
count
it.
here?
Yeah, none, 0.
Yeah,
Yellow.
that's
Oh,
the
well, in that
thing,
case.
is that like
Right.
eating raw cannabis is like ridiculous. Like it's not just good for all those conditions that you listed earlier.
Right.
Like it's good just for your general health.
A,
Right.
C, K, right? B12, B6.
Those are all vitamins, right?
all of
I
that
don't-
stuff. Yes.
It tastes very much like parsley.
I thought you
My
were
vegan
just
vegetarian
doing
friend
the
doesn't-
alphabet.
isn't familiar with vitamins. Yeah, they're usually starting with a letter.
That very much tastes like parsley.
And, okay.
I thought
Actually-
arugula. I had.
Well,
one
actually,
of
now
the
now that I'm getting the second note, I'm getting
You're
that
gonna
bitter
get a little
note.
pepper.
yeah, the
Yeah,
pepper.
the peppery note. Yeah,
Yeah.
the kale-like and ferns.
Just
Exactly.
a little bit of pepper makes it taste nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you know, you need pepper things for like pesto, right?
If you like basil, for those people who
raw
like
leaf
rosemary, all right,
pesto.
you're weird, but go ahead.
Wow.
Basil, you use it for tabbouleh. I use it in. I did last week. I did tomato and basil skewers, and we put the hemp leaves in the middle, and then did the balsamic drizzle. I'm gonna make pasta salad today, and we're gonna put that in there. So there's so many things. I've got a vegan, vegetarian health food store in New Smyrna Beach that's using it, and the chef made a beet kale hemp leaf salad. It was fabulous with this citrus vinaigrette, just beautiful.
Wow.
Beet is one of those things where I love it cold. I love it pickled, but I can't stand
This
it
is
when it's
this
heated
is
up.
what because like I'm already getting hungry. All right, so let one more thing that I want to like. You've got all these things that you want to show us, and I don't want to stand in the way anymore, Mary.
No, it's
But,
all good.
One thing that I want to point out, and Gary's done a lot of work with him. Where he's a good friend of the show, Joe Redner, who has sued the state because he wants the right to juice raw cannabis for
Should
his
have it.
cancer.
Yep.
He's been a friend of our show for a very, very long time. And one of the biggest things is that he interprets the law that we all should be able to grow.
I agree.
That's what I was about to ask. So what's your opinion on all this, right?
I have friends that have moved to Oklahoma and Michigan because they can't grow here. So I want my friends to come home.
Before now the products that you all have are hemp based, right? They're all legal by federal law.
Correct.
During moving out of Florida before hemp was legalized, or
yeah.
what did I do?
I spent a lot of time in Tennessee and Kentucky. I were around when it was out there where, oh my God, start a hemp farm and you can be a millionaire in 5 years and blah, 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 and everybody bit that off. And then even the larger cannabis dispensaries were promising farmers all over the place gigantic amounts of money. I have friends in Tennessee and Kentucky that lost their ass because large dispensaries pulled out on the contracts when the bottom fell out in the hemp market. So there is definitely a place for hemp. And I just think, I always say that my hemp friends know everything there is to know about THC because they were THC people first generally, right? But most THC people are completely unaware of all of the benefits available from hemp. And honestly, it's cannabis sativa. It's, except in the eyes of the government, it's cannabis sativa.
I've got a theory about that, like, because there was a number of CBD stores that opened up competing with Chillum, and there were a lot of people.
How dare they?
Yeah, right.
Seriously.
Thank you. But no, there was a lot of them. I saw like a trend. Like there was like, I remember like I got the feeling that the people from your CBD store, it's now closed now, so I can talk shit. But I had the feeling from your CBD store that they were all just like like bored housewives or bored people that had a little bit of money that wanted to open up the store because it sounded cool, and then they ended up realizing this is hard.
Hello.
and they got out of the business.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't an easy buck.
I really think that the being a THC person and opening up this store really helped me out because it inspired a passion behind what cannabis can do.
Exactly.
And really a general understanding. Like I was able to tell people how to dose CBD easy because, hey, you tried THC before, right? Don't think about the high, but this is how it's going to kick in and things like that.
Right.
So here's to the THC people in the hemp game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, hemp has had a very interesting history, of course. Well, at the turn of our nation's history, it was all about the industrial use. It really wasn't used as a recreational drug, although some people are constantly saying how Washington and Jefferson were constantly toking. I think they were still dipping snuff, to be honest with you. But they were definitely into the industrial side because it was one of the first major cash crops besides cotton and tobacco at the very beginning of our nation's history. And we move forward, and then all of a sudden, the Farm Bill of 2018 all of a sudden says that cannabis sativa in the form of hemp is a legal entity, and so therefore everybody wants to grow hemp as soon as they can. There's only a couple of states actually allowed it at that point in time, North Carolina, a few other ones. But all of a sudden there's thousands and thousands of people who want to get into the industry. And what they didn't realize is that there was going to be a huge wave of regulation that's going to get slapped on top of the THC industry. That's going to push everybody into the CBD industry. So they keep on producing. Only problem is they weren't selling their harvest. they were growing it, but they didn't have enough people to sell it to, especially industrially.
Yeah.
And so here we have a lot of crop out there. We've got a huge amount of crop that's been going on around cannabis. And so the CBD market got so saturated.
It did.
And then of course people started white labeling. You had no idea where it was coming from. And so oftentimes people would buy it and they wouldn't know where the leaves came from, who processed it, whether they cared or not, whether it was considered hot. Cannabis, hemp as in more than 0.3% number, by the way. It's what we were looking for?
It was arbitrary. I think.
Arbitrary, yeah.
Very
extremely arbitrary.
Yeah.
And so then, therefore, somebody else comes along and says, well, I heard of some experiments where they go ahead and do some acid wash on hemp, and all of a sudden this other THC comes out, Delta 8.
Right.
And that has been kind of like the savior and the bane of the industry as well, because we won a court case saying it is legal, and then we just got Oregon, the poster child of don't do it the way they did it. And all of a sudden they decide to make Delta 8 illegal. In fact, all synthetic reaction compounds of hemp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yet there are stores that are relying on the sales of Delta 8 just to keep them alive.
Right. Well, in those stores, in those states, especially where there is no legal THC option, where hemp and Delta 8 and Delta 9 are their only options. I'm a whole plant person, so I have big issues with that. So I'm gonna
we're talking about
saying anything about 8 or 9, except that I prefer to do business with local farmers. We have farmers now in Florida. There's a whole hemp division of our Department of Ag, right? And I love the ability to support local farmers. These are people in our neighborhood. These are people in our community, right? These are people that have the first store, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is our community, right? People, I know some people that have big CBD companies from this state that buy out of state products that don't know who their growers are. I love that you know where your stuff comes from, that you know who those people are that grow it. That's a responsible way to approach medicine, right? I'd rather know where my medicine comes from. And I've always said cannabis is participatory, right? Your body is different than mine. My body is different than yours. How does a doctor in a lab somewhere else take 3 times a day 2 of these? How do you know? How do they know?
Well, in some case, the body regulates how much of each particular substance it takes in. You actually have to, if you want to have more vitamin D in your body, get other enzymes in your body to be able to absorb it. That kind of situation.
Exactly.
Because the body has a buffering system.
Oh,
involved.
Wait, and it works together? What, like an endocannabinoid system? Oh my God.
If I start to sound too scientific, I do apologize. But I taught chemistry, I taught biochemistry, I taught microbiology, and one of the great thing about cooking is it all has to do with the main ingredient and the ecosystem around the main ingredient and the physics of it, which is so important because like flash point, metal, melting point, etc.
Right.
And now with CBD, of course, it's what is called aquaphobic, which means it actually prefers to be in fat as opposed to water.
Exactly.
And so I got to either change the environment or change the molecule itself in order to get it into various foods.
Well, that's where isolate has come in so strongly, right? Because that's the molecular manipulation, right, of cannabis. So
But basically, in the raw plant,
You guys are
have
using such big words right now.
well, right now, right now in the plant.
I'm just ready to eat.
You wanna
man.
eat? All right, cool. Hand me hand me
that's
bowl.
my whole approach to life. Is
Awesome.
I don't really need to know as long as I get fed.
All right, well, we're gonna eat and we're gonna
Screw the
talk
buffering
about
ratio. Let's eat. All right.
cannabis is easy, right? We're gonna talk
I'm
about
just
easy
messing
cannabis.
around.
No, we're gonna
Gary,
talk about
you
easy.
can inform me.
Easy cannabis.
Here,
All right,
I'll
so
trade you. I'll hold your microphone for
You're
you.
so groovy. Thanks.
And
Okay, so this is bow tie pasta.
All right, so I'm
It's
gonna make
BAOTHII.
Yeah, all right, take a piece of pasta and just taste it. And then grab a piece of pasta and taste it. Because
My grandma used to call this bow tie farfel.
right, okay, so for following, but that's okay. So one of the secrets when you take your pasta out of being boiled, you're draining it, right? Don't cover it with water. Go ahead and either put it back in that pot or put it in a bowl and cannabis oil into your pasta. Can you taste a little cannabis oil on it already? Does it taste a little cannabisy?
I got a little hint
Okay,
of that.
so what's happening is
I didn't know what was going on. But
Yeah,
your pasta
exactly.
tastes like
Right,
weed,
so
Mary.
it does, and that's on
It's
purpose.
not that strongly, but yeah,
No,
you can
but
tell.
See, you build flavor and you build cannabinoid, right? So the first cannabinoid you're building is in the pasta as it's cooling, right? The cells are open. So just like when you're laying out in the sun and our sunburned friend that can't join us, right? His pores were open, you got burned. Our pasta was open, so as it was cooling, it absorbed that oil. So we wanted to keep it starchy and we wanted to keep that oil on there. So I bathed that in a little bit of oil and also to preserve it. So I made a salad dressing at home that we're going to be able to add to it. And that's what this is. And I'm going to tell you how easy it is to make a regular vinaigrette. So you're going to take your cannabis oil. You can take the top off and smell that if you want to. And you're going to use...
Is that coconut oil base or?
That's actually olive oil. So olive and cannabis. And I know you guys have talked about decarbing and making oil and things like that often enough that should be easy enough. And I can fill you in if you need, reach out.
The 65 was a very good year.
Yeah. So vinaigrette, your ratio is 3 to 2. So you're going to do 3 oil to 2 vinegar. Now, what's going to help the flavor is
red wine vinegar,
right? This is red wine vinegar. You can also choose, and the reason this is lighter, right? A lighter color is because I used white wine vinegar. And so different vinegars can help flavor things in a different way and bring different terpenes and cannabinoids to the party.
I like rice vinegar. People think
Rice wine vinegar is very good. It's nice and it's bright. If you don't have vinegar, you can also use citrus juice. So you could squeeze a lemon or you could squeeze a lime or you could use orange juice because that's citrus also, right?
That is so Florida.
So you can add vinegar. So if you don't want to go to the trouble of letting me share my recipes with you, my suggestion is this, because it's a powder, which means you get to choose your oil, you get to choose your vinegar, and where it says water, you can still change that up and use lemon juice, orange juice to make it more citrusy, things like that. So quick and easy.
Make it more of a mocha.
Exactly. Now this is salad. It's called super salad. It's one of those gotta have from the 80s, right? My aunt's herb was always in there. So I put a little bit of that in there. Gary, I'm going to ask you to hold that. The reason I thought we would do pasta salad is because everybody can make pasta salad and it's hot as balls outside and nobody wants to take anything that's got mayonnaise in it with them anywhere, right?
We're going to deconstruct that expression later on.
The hottest balls. Well, you know, you guys have them and you know what it's like down there. So
as a matter of fact, we had Charlie Christ on a couple weeks ago. He did have a fan under the table.
No, I didn't. Oh man, that
My
was
left leg got so cold.
TMI, right? Oh my God. I bet when Nikki comes on, she don't need no fan. Come on, Nikki, with the fan. All right. So what I love about pasta salad is you can basically put in whatever you have at home.
That doesn't make him a cool guy, though.
I guess he was a cool guy, at least for that day. I love you guys so much. Okay, so I like my pasta salad to have a lot of color. So this is yellow squash.
Yes, it certainly is.
It is.
So you guys know she has a cool bag down there.
I have a cool bag down
cool
there.
bag down there.
Here's a little bit of red onion. I just chopped ahead of time because, you know, we have limited space.
You really planned this out very well, though. Like
I
it's
did. I love
yeah.
you guys, right? I wanted to feed you.
And we're going to put down the quantities on air.
Oh yeah, sure.
Is that watermelon?
No, it's tomato. Now the
Ah.
original recipe called for peppers, but I'm a tomato girl, and we grow a lot of tomatoes in Florida. So I like to do business with my local farmers. Hello.
So we talking Ruskin tomatoes here?
Yes, we are. And if you would follow me on Facebook, there is a local farm link that I'm friends with. And then it'll tell you all the local farms where you can go pick your own berries or grab your own melons and stuff like that. Celery.
Every once in a while, a trip to Waimama.
Oh,
is
seriously. Oh my God, yeah. So we very local farmer people. Now, the recipe actually calls for black olives, but I like black beans. And the reason I like beans, I'm going to tell you 2 reasons. The first is because they're yummy, right? And then the second reason is because they actually add protein. If you take beans, thanks, Gary, and you add them to rice, then you have a complete meal. So if you're looking to lose weight, if you'll keep the meat out of that and just do the beans and the rice, then you actually have a starch and a protein. So it's a complete meal. Don't add the meat if you become a starch. So then you got 2 starches. You don't want that. All that becomes a fat. So since we're not adding meat to this, we have pasta and we have our beans. You want to tear some of those up for me? So what's going to do is that's going to mean that this salad will also, for our vegan and our vegetarians, it will serve as part of the protein because you've got the beans in there. So it just makes it better for you. Also, olives are good, but they're considered a fat. So it's a great snack in the middle of the day. If you're looking for something to snack on, use black olives or green olives.
I guess they don't work well with ding dongs.
No, ding dongs and ho-hos, not so good with olives. Unless you have a chocolate martini alongside of them, I guess, right? Okay, so everybody in
Can
the
you
pot?
make a mojito with cannabis leaves?
I don't see why not. I've got recipes for all kinds of drinks.
I'll take Manhattan.
Be peppery instead of minty, but
Yeah, right?
No pepper mojito.
Right, and why not make a mint julep that way? Okay, so now we're just going to pour our dressing on, filled with cannabis oil, cannabis goodies. Of course, you can scrape your weed into here, so you can always add just straight hemp bud or just your regular bud. And then you're just going to toss this around a little bit.
But it's better to have the fresh as opposed to the cured and dehydrated, and
yeah,
which makes great confetti, but doesn't necessarily cook as well.
Well, it does, and sometimes depending on Carlos has very nice fresh bud here, and he knows where it comes from, and he knows what it looks like. All of those kinds of things. There's places where you can walk in and you look at that bud, man. That's gonna smoke like old tobacco. It's just gonna hurt you. Remember the days we used to drive?
It's like
by
Borkum
that
Riff without the pleasure.
Oh
right?
my God! Remember you used to buy that dime bag or that quarter bag, and it was all brown, nasty shit. It tasted like it had dried in somebody's locker with their nasty shoes and shit, right?
Hey, that was the best we had.
Well, it was half seeds anyway, so what the hell, right?
Did you guys ever do like those tricks like back in the day to like get like super high, like knifeys or like shotguns? Or
Oh yeah,
yeah.
like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
yeah, one shots. Absolutely.
Grab the plates and the spoons. I want you guys to try this.
There we go.
So super easy. You see, pasta, and then whatever you have on hand. The dressing is really easy to make. And this is really healthy. What I love about it is we're using a lot of fresh veggies from Florida. We've got our protein in there, our hemp seeds, our hemp spices and things. And then on top of that, we actually have a dressing that's good for us and that heals us at the same time.
Now, when I was cooking in college, and we would take whatever dried shake we had left over from our brown brick of weed, and we would reconstitute it with margarine.
Nice.
And put it on different stuff. Is that the correct way to go ahead and revitalize what is almost essentially lost weed?
Butter, oil, like avocado oil is very popular now. Always watch the oil. I always go back to olive oil because you can always cook with olive oil. And it's really good.
Now, those of us of a certain age need to limit our sodium.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. That's why I created somewhere around here. I have an all-purpose seasoning with no salt.
You can call me the Segway Man.
Thank you. Did you know? I did. I like to cook with no salt. I buy butter that has no salt. And the only thing in this with salt is that seasoning, which is a seasoning salt. And it's got paprika in it. It's got garlic powder in it. It's really better about 24 hours into the pasta salad. What do you think?
I think probably the best part is the seasoning. It's really delicious.
It has a ratatouille kind of ambiance about it.
You want some? Come on in, girl. You want some pasta salad? Here, hang on. Yeah, I'm making a mess. There's a fork. Yay, hi.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Podcast, all right?
Yeah.
I'll be in the shop soon.
Kinda.
All these injuries on my body. I take muscle relaxers and the pain management too for ibuprofen.
Yeah, check his CBD line. They're really good.
THC.
Yep.
And
So-
THC.
It's
Thanks, guys,
everything.
so much.
Now,
Thanks.
this stuff has the acid forms, the CBDA and the THC.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
So how does that convert into our body?
Well, oh, sorry, Gary. A is actually a phytocannabinoid,
Mhm.
which reacts completely differently than the decarbed cannabis does.
Mhm.
So it actually reacts faster in your body and in a different way and is absorbed in a different way. So while your decarbed cannabis is going in, the reason we smoke, of course, is because it goes in fastest. This is going to go in through your bloodstream and then work back through your organs. And then it will actually have the ability to stay longer, right? So it's going to stick around for a little while and then help everything else. So it's kind of the homeostasis ability. It helps. One of the things that I read earlier is it actually helps the homeostasis happen. It helps the combinations combine better and more quickly.
So
Now, why do they call it homeostasis?
You'd have to ask Dr. Mashulam about that. He's currently in Portugal with Dr. Bonnie.
I
So.
thought strictly homies
So-
could actually get involved in it.
this doesn't taste like weed at all.
No, it doesn't, and it doesn't
So-
have to.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of chefs say things like like our stuff doesn't taste like weed. I've always kind of enjoyed the taste of marijuana.
Mhm.
But this does a very good job of like masking it. You know what I mean? Like this does a very good job. It's not like it's like not there.
Yeah.
It's just like complementing the other flavors.
Exactly.
That's just it. Yeah, I can still taste the peppery.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had a chance to have that leaf
Mhm.
earlier, so now I can go ahead and compare about that one particular ingredient being put in here.
Right, but it's just one part. Okay, cannabis is food, right? We eat our weed, and it should be looked at just like lettuce, just like arugula,
so
just
right.
like basil, saffron, any of those other things that we have. We should be able to grow it out back with our tomatoes. I visited this guy named Adam last week, and he and his wife used to work. Her name is Dee. Hi, Adam. Hi, Dee. They used to work in corporate cannabis, and now he is a hemp farmer. And he's got these two beautiful hoop houses on his property. They probably got about 5 or 10 acres. And his hemp, oh my God, you guys.
No, we're not going to give you the address.
It is absolutely stunning.
We
He
have-
has his plants all separated. They're trimmed. They have room to grow. I mean, he really, attention to detail, right?
Uh-huh.
Somebody that cares about his plants and knows what they're doing, and it really makes a difference. And so when you can insert quality cannabis, right, quality hemp into your products, and then bring in both ways to get it active, right? So you're going in with the endocannabinoid system, you're bringing in all of the things that marry with the things that are here. Like I did relevance a couple months ago on the letter O. You know, it's kind of like Sesame Street. So I picked the letter O and we did onions.
Mhm.
And it's amazing how much cannabis and onions have in common and how many terpenes and cannabinoids that we look at in cannabis are actually in every food that we eat, whether it's nuts, whether it's seeds, whether it's all the stuff in this pasta salad. things that are in cannabis
It's-
are also in these things as well.
It's such a good point because we've spent so much time with prohibition, and and we were talking about we were talking about shotguns and shit like that earlier, but like
Shotguns and shit like that.
those were dark times
Yeah, you
because
bet.
like if I wanted to get as high as I do now, doing a dab on my couch, right? I used to have to convince my homie to go walk 3 blocks down the
Oh,
way,
you bet.
hide by the lake, right, and roll a
Mhm.
blunt and then blow a shotgun in my face, right?
Right. Yeah.
So times are a lot harder, and like we're from this era of like not only was it prohibited, but it was like looked down upon.
So with this, you can use a salad shooter.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the people that I work
That's a
with,
Popil product. I'm
it
not
gives you
gonna
the ability to
but
have homeostasis all day, right?
even people like us that are so familiar with cannabis do normal, right? Like
Mhm.
we still have like some inner workings of prohibition inside of us,
Right. Exactly.
right? Cannabis is a food.
Yep.
That flavor should be in the repertoire of the culinary arts, right?
This needs
And
anchovies though.
I'll have some on the side for you
There
later.
you go.
and it's very important
That would
that
be- it'd
if
be
Gary
perfection.
wants to eat anchovies with cannabis oil, right,
Mhm.
and thinks that cannabis oil tastes good with anchovies, you should be able to do that.
Yes,
And
you should.
that should be like
Do
a normal
vegetarians
part
eat
of our life.
Do vegetarians eat anchovies?
No.
No, they had a soul.
So you're yeah, right.
Pretty much eyes,
I'm
right? Does it
When
confusing
have,
was
the
the
shit
last
out of
time
you
that-
right now, right?
did it have a face?
When was the last time they had an ecumenical
Did it have a face?
discussion with a sardine? I'm serious.
Wasn't Mr.
They had-
Limpet some kind of fish?
Yeah, well, he was Don Knotts. But
Gary Stein sleeps with the fishes.
they don't hug the cover.
No, the point that I'm trying to make though is that like we're here, we're trying to normalize it, but like
Yep.
this is the next step. It's not, the next
Yeah.
step is that not just legalizing it, but like integrating it within everything we do.
Everywhere.
You mean kind of like it was at the turn of the 20th century?
Yeah,
where it was one of the main feedstocks for cattle here in
Yeah.
Florida, beyond orange rinds.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not only food that we eat, but the food that we eat eats it.
That's exactly
A lot
right.
of people don't realize that one of the first
Crazy.
reasons we started growing oranges here in Florida, it was not only to help get rid of the scurvy that a lot of the sailors had over here, but also because of the fact it was perfect food for the cattle that was being raised here in Florida.
Wow.
Really?
Well, that's where all the crackers and stuff came from. They used to crack their whip to get the cattle moving.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Florida was a cattle state, cattle and oranges
And now
brought by the Spaniards.
all the
Wow.
oranges have gangrene and shit, right?
Yeah,
What
it's
is it?
kind of the revenge of whatever, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like
The greening and orange canker.
orange canker. There we go.
Ouch.
I said gangrene.
That's all right.
But-
Thinking about canker is not necessarily a good Sunday topic.
But I mean, if we
Isn't that a bar down the street?
That would not be a good name for a bar. You know?
We're in Ybor, man. Anything goes, right?
Yeah, but
Come
but,
on down to the canker.
Imagine that though. Like you like I'm over here just getting
Get a
high
herpes
off of this
sandwich.
food and like contemplating all this shit. but
I'm so
like
glad.
if more people integrated cannabis into
Oh,
and
yeah.
hemp into their food, shit, maybe we'd have more livestock in this state. Maybe we'd have more oranges in this state because we're using hemp to revitalize the soil and whatnot. Like it's just such a beneficial thing for us, just all around.
You're saying that
And
hemp filters the water, the aquifer underneath the
To-
ground right here,
to-
and purifies it, taking out the heavy metals and the various proteins and other
Yeah,
things
you gotta be
that don't need to
careful.
be in our system.
You've got to be very careful where you plant hemp. Yeah.
you
Kind
know,
of like hemp for water.
I
Hemp for
bought
Chernobyl.
Steve, I'm not giving you any money for this. Okay, but you owe us.
your polo that I forgot today, Gary, is made by that gentleman though. It's
I've got a
almost
t-shirt
like
from him.
it's almost like we should be for hemp to save our water.
We should be for hemp to save our world.
Absolutely.
It's the only thing that can.
Mhm.
So,
That is a
more?
unsolicited advertisement.
oh, I'm okay.
Yep.
I'm okay.
So we make all kinds of things with one of the reasons, again, that trying to find ways to normalize the ability to keep your homeostasis going. Some people would like to smoke off and on all day, but they work in jobs where they can't.
Mm.
So having a salad with a salad dressing, whether it's a pasta salad or whether you make that dressing and put it on something else, or whether you use that salad dressing to marinate chicken or fish or beef, and then you grill it and you add that to a sandwich or a salad that you have at lunch, you still have the ability to keep your homeostasis going all day long. I started cooking with cannabis for one person with Crohn's and ended up making almond butter with CBD and hemp oil. A friend in another state whose son needed medication and she couldn't be there every day. So she sends him to school with an almond butter and jam sandwich that has CBD in it.
That sounds very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Almond butter recipe is so easy. You can easily make it at home. It's 3 cups of roasted almonds and 3 tablespoons of oil. And so add your CBD tincture that you get from Carlos here at Chillum.
Mm-hmm.
Add the oil that you've decarbed at home and made your THC oil with.
At what strength?
Here's the thing, though, Mary, is that like you being a chef and being versed in all of these things, like our view, like that sounds so easy to you, and it really is like an easy process. But our viewers are at home, or listeners are at home, and they're like, what the hell did she just say? So
3 cups of almonds. It's 3 and 3. 3 tablespoons.
Here's the thing, though, is that you made it really easy with your seasonings.
Oh yeah.
Now,
simply, you could just put your seasoning on your food and get your raw cannabis.
And to our folks over at Florida Trees, yeah, we're talking about putting it into a seed oil, because of the almond, but that is where it goes, and it goes quite healthy. I'm sorry, but there's a lot of confusion in the foodie industry right now in regards to whether we should be consuming seeds or seed oils.
Got it.
Where I was always told that those were the good cholesterol, and your basic large sandwiches are the bad cholesterol.
Yeah, I think
I'm talking about you, Popeyes.
I think if let's face it, that 350-degree fat that they fry stuff in. I used to work for some food companies, and there's some oils that are good and there's some that are not. And there's a gigantic price difference between the two. So you can just imagine what the things that are fried in at places, what that is. And then other things that are fried in that oil, and whether they clean it often enough, or you don't want to go there with me. So.
Well, I had my first major heart attack in 2012. I had a doctor come in saying, you can have French fries once a month.
There you go.
And you'll live from there. But it wasn't just that. It was also a matter of just switching out the entire background of my daily culinary experience to reduce the fat and reduce the salt as well.
Well, so we are a meat soup, right? We are a machine that functions with what we put in and what we put out. So I used to be very heavy all my life. I went on my first diet when I was 7 years old, and I used to take a frozen Diet Shasta to high school for lunch. That was high school, because I weighed way more than I do now, almost all my life. And so finally I decided.
So is Diet Shasta a diet food?
It was to my mother, along with the Diet Seago, which
I don't even know what Shasta is.
It's a soda.
It's like Fanta.
Yeah, Fanta, right? Like a Diet Fanta out of California. Yeah.
There's a reason they got rid of Tab, by the way.
Yeah, well, that was also on the list. Yeah, so I mean, I've had an unhealthy relationship with food all my life, and learning what food is and what food does and which food you can eat together, and then especially learning. Because I look up food and terpenes, right? And terpenes are a word that we use with cannabis, but terpenes aren't necessarily a word that people would associate with other food like nuts or broccoli or onions or things like that. But when you look further in,
Well, now we know his motorcycle works. Okay,
all right.
I don't know if you guys saw that in the background, or heard that in the background, but it literally just scared the whole sidewalk of people. Like people, like literally, just like
This lady from Nebraska just wet her pants on the sidewalk.
And this guy is saying, "Look, I straight piped." All right. Anyways,
sorry about that. If they didn't hear anything, yeah, they have no idea what we were talking about.
It was just so funny to watch it all happen.
The things that go on beyond.
Peace, love,
we can't
cannabis,
discuss
y'all.
it, or we have to kill you later.
Yeah, exactly, right?
All right. So this is healthy eating with the additional increase in cannabinoids, which has been out of our diet since, again, pretty much since the turn of the 20th century.
Yeah, but
And
you can.
since that time, you've had a rise in Alzheimer's.
Oh my God.
A lot of developmental diseases.
Opioid conditions, especially arthritis,
a lot of autoimmune diseases have been
neurological, everything,
Absolutely.
right? And I saw this
A lot more
interview.
epilepsy too.
Bingo. I saw this interview with this doctor from the NIH, and he was talking about like the mobile, like when you were a kid, and it was all even. And so now if something goes wrong and that it's like this, right? CBD, hemp, cannabis brings it all back, and you can treat the one thing that's wrong. What happens in medical science is they only treat one thing without realizing all the other things that it's going to harm. And then everything's out of balance. So it's like, take this medicine, but then you can't take that and you can't eat this. And you might have night sweats. And the one that kills me completely, right? Because of my depression and my PTSD, right? I can take medicine for PTSD and medicine for depression, but oh God, I might have suicidal thoughts. Like, fuck you. Are you kidding me? Sorry, am I not allowed to say that?
You're allowed to say whatever.
Yeah, the FCC has already kicked us off already.
We don't give a shit.
But
All right.
But we
come
refuse
on.
to go on Pornhub for some reason.
Wait, seriously. How do you fight depression and then you're going to give me medicine that's going to make me want to kill myself? I already want to kill myself. Come on. I mean,
yeah.
what the heck?
Yeah.
Or seizure medication that makes you cure things that aren't there.
Come on.
Isn't that wonderful? Modern science.
So homeostasis, thank God for Dr. Meshulam, right? And our awareness that, when I used to get stoned and throw my trash and my seeds into my brownies or my spaghetti sauce, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually know I was healing myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the science behind it makes perfect sense because that's why I would calm down. That's why I wasn't so anxious. How do you do this job? Oh my God, the only way I can do this job is because I'm high, because otherwise I'd be hiding in the back of the room, right?
Now, when like many edibles and eating this as THCA, it stays in your system longer.
It certainly does.
Than it does if you just go ahead and torch it and just get the general molecules down through the lung lining into the bloodstream and all that kind of stuff.
And also when you add things to this, depending on what you're going to do, like one of the things that made me want to do the everything bagel seasoning is because if you do avocado toast in the morning, you're already increasing your cannabis's ability to do a better job.
Wait a minute. This is bagel seasoning?
Everything bagel seasoning with hemp.
Oh, everything bagel. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Yeah. So it's all the stuff that's in everything bagel, but it goes avocado toast. I put it on baked potato, tomato soup. But avocado toast is a great way to start your morning. You're getting protein, you're getting a healthy fat. If you're using a whole grain bread, even better. But especially if you're a cannabis user, because it's got the things like myrcene, beta-caryophyllene that are going to increase your cannabis experience. They're going to bring it on faster and they're going to make it last longer. So, and then if you're a cannabis user and you can't smoke at your midday break or whatever that is, that avocado toast can be that midday break if you didn't do it for breakfast.
Now, if you were planning a meal
Mm-hmm.
as an infused meal, not that you've ever done that before.
No.
But would it be appropriate to infuse every single dish, or just every other dish, or just put more at the beginning and then at the end just give them a dessert that will make them wake up the next day still stoned?
No, I think for me, it needs to be a ride, right? It needs to be an experience, right? So you need to be able to experience each bit of the food, and you need to be stoned enough to enjoy it, but not so stoned that you're numb and that you can't remember it. So I mix, and I'll do THC first, and then I'll even it off with a 1-to-1, and then bring in, like within a meal, some THC and some CBD.
Mm-hmm.
So you're eating a little of everything. So that just adds to the whole experience, and it keeps you hovering until time for dessert.
Do you ever consider the amount of minor cannabinoids that goes in
Always,
various foods?
always. And I always look at the cannabinoids that will work with what I have. Like if you're doing, let's say, a tenderloin, right? There are rubs that, like with a coffee or with cinnamon or with dark chocolate, that add to the cannabinoids ability and add to the meat's ability to bring on that cannabinoid experience.
Holistic approach.
And so, right, and then to hold on to that.
Actually, I was told that mango is very much an
Mango and
intensifier.
avocado both have exactly the same myrcene. I don't know if I pronounce it
Myrcene.
right. Say it.
Mercy.
There it is. Yes,
Mhm.
they both have that, and they both have beta caryophyllene, and both of those bring on the experience faster and keep it longer. So if you're not a mango person, avocado is your other alternative.
Mhm.
But avocado toast with some mango on it would be great. Also, if you want to do a
Um,
smoothie in the morning with your
mm.
mango and throw a little avocado
That
in,
is
that's a
what Joe
healthy
did
fat.
every morning. He would make a cannabis smoothie.
One of the things that I worked on was a company that it was like terpene shots. So like a 5-hour energy that you would take
Yeah.
while you're smoking. And we wanted to have an indica one, so we were like looking to put a lot of mercy in it, and I suggested mangoes for
Yeah.
it, like a mango extract or something
Mhm.
like that. And then we had like a flavoring company do the formulation, and they came back saying that we did some research and we actually found out that lemongrass extract has more mercy.
Wow,
So,
I
yeah.
love lemongrass. Actually, you'd be
Oh,
surprised
that's great.
how many spas use it in their infusers.
Yeah,
Nice.
it is a
More than
very very relaxing, and that makes a lot of sense because like that the infuser like supercharges the mercy.
I keep
So,
it in
like,
my backyard so no mosquitoes.
yeah, if you use a lemongrass infuser, that's very very
Oh,
relaxing.
so
So,
Yeah.
like,
in your backyard, you see a mosquito. You say, "Don't bite me." They say, "No, I'm good."
No, they're with the lemongrass.
I
They're
wanna
happy.
smoke a joint next to a lemongrass infuser. That would be like
Oh, that would
the
be fun.
most relaxing high ever.
Have a little Buddhist bell in the background. Somebody rubbing the bowl a little bit.
With some mango hemp papers, right?
And some pasta salad made by Chef Mary.
Infused chutney. Now that would be fun.
That would be
All
fun.
right.
Oh, and
All right, Mary.
swordfish, right?
We're running towards the end of the
Out
show
of
here.
Yeah,
So
we got.
let's give you
Tell us more about your product there.
Oh no, haven't we done? Isn't that all we've done?
so go ahead, look into the camera.
Okay.
Talk to our viewers. Tell them them
guys.
how they can support you and where they can find you.
Great. Okay, so Culinary Cannabis, you can find us at myculinarycannabis.com. We have fresh leaves available, and we have our premier lineup, our fall lineup or our summer lineup right now, which is Italian, hemp, everything bagel, all-purpose seasoning with no salt. We have meat, which is great on steak or chops. We have bird, which is perfect for grilling season, or if you're gonna bake a chicken or a turkey.
Yeah.
So you put meat on meat.
It's not like ground up meat that you would add to meat.
No, it's meat
It's
seasoning.
meat seasoning.
Right. So it's meat seasoning.
You see,
like-
I
like
knew we had to clarify
onions
because
and
Gary might
peppers.
get a
Well,
like.
yeah.
It's not a grounded up bird.
No.
It's
All right. Well,
Well-
you want to know the story, right?
Or being
So-
partially literal,
us
it could
the
be
story.
ground up babies.
it's
that-
funny.
that,
Oh my God, you guys, this is funny as hell. Okay, so I got hit by a semi truck
Oh,
in
no.
October,
oh,
and the Cannabis Festival was coming up in November, and I needed help getting the spice blends done and into bottles and everything. So all my friends came over, and they're loading bottles with stuff and everything. And we came to the label, right? Here's the top, right?
Uh-huh.
So this is the top of the label, and I'm like, okay, how you gonna write chicken on there? So right, how you gonna write steak or pork chops or ribs, right? So we decided 4 letters, right? So meat, so use it on meat. Bird, use it on bird. This is Italian. We have EBS, Italian. We have just straight up hemp, so it gives you the ability to create your own whatever you want with the ground hemp in it, in case you haven't bought fresh hemp from Carlos.
Uh-huh.
We have the fresh leaves available here at Chillum, and also the spice blends here at Chillum.
So how many different spice blends do you have?
We currently have 7. By the end of the year, we'll have 12.
So
All
take-
made in Florida using Florida hemp.
Fresh from
Harvest
Florida.
locally. That's right. Exactly. Harvested and processed locally.
So take a hint from Mary here. Incorporate cannabis into your life. Don't just
Yeah.
smoke it. Don't just use it to get stoned.
Oh my
Right?
God.
Put
Make
it-
make a
make-
sauce.
Make a sauce. Make a sauce. Put it in your coffee.
Right.
Yeah,
Mix
drink
it
it
in
in
your
water.
I
man.
got the address right here, guys. If you have any other questions for Mary, want to know where
Oh
the
yeah.
product is being sold, where is it being sold now?
Chill 'em.
And myculinarycannabis.com.
myculinarycannabis.com.
Wherever you want to buy it,
That's right.
whatever.
Do they have it at the Columbia gift store?
I don't know.
No.
We are working toward Whole
Just here.
Foods, but we are new. Oh, and on Friday night, I will be at Swamp City, and we are doing
Nice. Shout out
Oh.
to Swamp City.
we love our guys at Swamp City. We're doing a rollout of products, so come smell all the products. We're gonna have some free samples, some little nosh. We're gonna be hanging out. We're gonna be getting high. We're gonna be at the Swamp. So come to the Swamp on Friday night.
And you'll have infused anchovy paste?
No anchovy paste. You'll have to bring
Okay.
bring your own anchovy paste.
BYOAC.
It's the Swamp,
All
man.
right, Gary Bear. Anything else you want to say today?
Yes, first off, I want to say happy Juneteenth to all those folks who
Very
do
nice.
celebrate it, because it
Yes.
is kind of a happy day.
It's a very
Or
important
as
day.
Jefferson Davis called it, wait, they freed what? And we're just so happy that it is now officially a federal holiday. And today is also Father's Day for those of us
Father's Day. Who have a father?
who have a father or
Who are a father.
who might be a father,
Yo soy tu papá.
or you have to find out from Phil Donahue whether you are a father,
Maury Povich.
Maury Povich, whatever it is. Yeah. So you see how good I am on those roles. And of course, if you want to be part of the movement here or even the entire country, because we are going national here.
We are.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Go
the
to
good news.
suncoastnormal.org to become a member.
Yeah.
For that, you get a mere $25 fee. I mean, that's a cost of 3
That's it.
ventes,
That's
essentially.
it.
And then you
$25 a year
you
to
can
be
get
a
a
member.
gold membership
come
pin,
on.
a gold membership card, and exclusive discounts and surprises over at Chillum Garden.
Oh my God, you
Yeah,
guys got to
there you go.
come to Chillum. I've been sitting here this morning looking at these my bud vases. Oh my God, you guys, seriously? If you haven't been to Chillum in the last 2 weeks, you better come, because holy shit, man, there's some stuff in here.
Now,
You're
Wait,
good. That's
Well,
a
you guys
good
need
commercial.
to you guys need to come buy some spice blends, because I need that bong over there.
now
Water pipe. Water pipe.
we had
That lovely water pipe.
No, but
We
back to the point of the show. It's 25% off Mary's blend if you join normal at Chillum.
Yeah, come on down.
yeah, we had Charlie Crist here a couple weeks ago, and
I'm
there was
sorry.
a coffee cup sitting on the table the whole time. He did not know that was not a coffee cup. That is actually a
There was a pipe sitting in front of
And
Charlie
a
Chris
pipe-
the entire time.
disguised as a coffee cup.
I love it.
But he came with his own Red Bull, so I guess the joke didn't work.
Boy, dang.
And with that, we got more guests coming. Be sure to come back next week where we will have a surprise guest who will knock your socks off. So make certain you have them bolted
Who
on.
That's
is
right.
it?
Wear socks.
Who is it?
If I told you, it would be surprised. I wouldn't.
Is it not in our chat?
Let's just say that now that we know who all the political challengers are in Florida, because this is qualifying week last week,
Yes.
we get to find out who to vote up for and who to vote down for, and who to run out of town with.
Who are our cannabis candidates? We want to know.
cannabis and all the other issues that are important to you?
Seriously,
a
like,
lot
are
of
you a
interplay
woman?
there.
It's time to vote. Call your neighbors. Take everybody you know to the polls. Come on.
And
Seriously, you guys, it really matters.
But if you see
Sorry.
Ron DeSantis, don't bring him to the polls.
Oh, fuck him. Sorry.
Yeah.